Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Brilliant.
So
I think we're live.
we should just be live. I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave us for a couple of moments. Just tends to be that people take a couple of minutes just to find us and to let us know that they are here and that they are watching us. Obviously, this is the education. This is the 11 plus journey, and everything will be recorded or will be put up on the page. So even if there is nobody watching us right now, they will be able to watch the video back and find out all about you and all about your products. So
Well, a lot of them were probably just watching me just now do my live session on creative writing in the same group, so they're probably utterly sick of seeing me for the time being.
Well, I hope that they're going to flip over to here and watch you. It's only going to take a 15 minutes, and we should be there. Perfect. I'm just going to check that everybody can hear us. So bear with me one moment.
Well, there's a comment coming in from
hello.
There's a comment coming from Apilasha, I think. So that's somebody who was watching us.
Brilliant. So do give us a wave if you can hear us. Drop us a hello. Make sure that you are here. If you're watching us on replay, give us a hashtag replay so that we know that you are watching us. And yeah, perfect. Okay, brilliant. We've got some people here. Perfect. Okay. So I am going to crack on and give everybody who's listening a very quick summary of what Just a Minute is. So Just a Minute is typically a radio show on Radio 4. And the idea is that the person being interviewed has to talk for a minute with no interruptions, no pauses, no repetitions, no ers, no ums. We're doing away with those kind of rules. We are literally going for 1 minute of conversation. It'd be a bit hard to do it without repeating 11 plus. I feel like 11 plus would come up. And also for yourself, I feel like vocabulary and writing.
It'll be hard for me not to repeat the word I think would be my biggest danger.
Yeah, so here with me, I am delighted that Robert can kick this off. So we've got Robert Lomax, who is the kind of face of RSL Educational. Many of you will be familiar with him here in the group. He runs some live sessions for us. He's always giving great content. And so therefore, I thought he'd be ideal for our first run at Just a Minute. So if you're ready, we're going to go for Just a Minute, 11 plus style. Are you ready to begin?
No, but I think I'm going to anyway.
All right. So, first question. Who is your product? What is your product? And who is it aimed at?
There's actually a timer. Amazing.
There's a timer.
I should wait for it to start. Okay. There we are.
Perfect.
It's still showing what I've got an eternal 1 minute.
Right.
Okay, so there were three main strands to what I do. I've got a service called 11 Plus Lifeline, which sends out resources every week to people who are preparing for the 11 Plus for all kinds of schools. And the idea behind it, there's a very wide range of resources covering everything: written comprehension, creative writing, multiple choice, maths, reasoning, and so on. And so over a period of a few weeks or a few months using that, you get a really broad coverage of the kinds of things that you need to prepare for the 11 Plus and everything. And I think I'll probably talk about this lots of times. There's definitely a repetition. But everything's got really detailed answers which enable people to understand exactly how they should be writing and to copy examples. Second strand to what I do are my books, some of my most best-selling books. This is one of my creative writing books. Oh, not the white pages. You can't see anything there. It's just a book. This is one of my comprehension books. This is one of my maths books. The time is running out. Please buy them. And the last strand is that I do free 11 Plus lessons every Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. Look for Easy 11 Plus on YouTube or go to easy11plus.org.
Look at that. How stressful was that?
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, it's much less stressful than when my microphone failed during the class I was doing half an hour ago.
Okay, right. Are we ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay. Here we are. What problem does it solve and what is unique about it?
So I think that the kind of ideology that I took into when I set up this business and started doing this at the end of 2015 was to try and offer the experience of private tuition in written form, because I felt that a lot of people, there were other people who were paying for very expensive private tutors, or they were just using books which gave lots of questions and then just gave quick one-line answers in the back and gave no real understanding of how to put an answer together of what an examiner might be looking for. So what I tried to do in all my resources is to give example answers for everything that show, you know, what a really good answer actually looks like, including, for example, handwritten working in maths, full answers in comprehension, walkthroughs of stories in creative writing exercises, and everything really explained, so that hopefully it opens up a lot of the benefits of private tuition to a lot of people who either don't want to go down that route or you know, don't want to pay for it or whatever it might be. I think that's the main thing.
Look at that. You're doing very well on this, especially as given that I've thrown you in the deep end. All right.
I think I'm repeating quite a lot.
That's all right. How can your product help children and parents? It can be under a minute. Don't worry. Don't have to go to a minute. But how?
Oh, you skipped. You skipped.
I didn't want to do that. There we are. I wanted to go here. Off we go. My 1 minute timer appears to be taking a lot of space.
That's okay. Right. Give me a few extra seconds. So I think that without trying to repeat what I've just said, I think there are kind of two angles to a lot of what I offer. So one side of it is that it offers a lot of support. So because the answer resources are so, you know, there's so much in that regard, and generally the answers take up more space than the questions in my material, almost always, it means that children are never stuck thinking, well, how would I didn't get that answer, how would I get that answer? Okay, this isn't a good response, but what would a good response be like? So it gives a lot of support to children who maybe aren't fully confident, who want to know what they should be doing and not just whether they're right or wrong. And the other side of it is that I offer some things which are actually more challenging than other resources that you can find. So they really help to stretch children. But because of the really detailed answers and walkthroughs that go with that, it's a level of challenge that children can still confront without just being left confused and baffled. And I have easier things too.
There we are. Look at that. Okay, you've seen this one. Is it 11 plus specific, or does it cover a broader area?
It depends what you're talking about. So if you see something that's branded as 11 plus, then no surprise that it is focused on the 11 plus, but the skills should be very useful for anything at Key Stage 2, beginning of Key Stage 3. Things like this, my creative writing books, they're very widely used by people preparing for the 11 plus, but they don't have to be the 11 plus. They don't talk about the 11 plus. They're just about learning to enjoy writing really well, and particularly about learning to enjoy expressing your own ideas rather than just rehashing things you've read, rather than downloading phrases from a book and copying them onto the page, but actually becoming a really creative and original writer yourself. Because I think actually with the right approaches, almost anyone can learn to write in a way that's very original. I've also got a book for younger ages, RSL 8 plus to 10 plus comprehension is a really good lead in to 11 plus skills. I've got a book for 13 plus, and then if I can go quickly here, I've also got lots of things for GCSE, which are maybe not so relevant here, but here's some GCSE French, here's some GCSE maths, here's some GCSE German, Spanish as well. Apart from the maths book, which is by me, the GCSE language books are written by other expert authors. And can I overrun by a few seconds on this one?
Yep, go for it.
Yeah, go for it. And hopefully coming out in a couple of months, there's going to be a book which is a guide to the whole of the English education system, schools and universities, aimed at overseas families, written by some extremely high-profile authors. Because that isn't absolutely finalised, I'm not going to name them, but they're probably people you will have heard of in other contexts, and that should be a really useful book for anyone who, even if they aren't from overseas, wants to understand how the British education system works, how to apply for schools, how to choose a university, how to structure your subject choices for GCSE and A-level and so on. So that's something to look forward to in the coming months.
See, there we are. I had no idea. I only thought you did 11 plus stuff. See, I'm learning something new whilst I do this, which is perfect. All right. on to the next one. What are you working on now? You gave us a little bit of a hint on that. And the last.
Yeah, so that's one project at the moment. And the other thing that I'm working on a lot now, which of course people in this group know about already, I think, is I'm really pushing into offering a lot of free video resources. Part of that's my Easy 11 Plus lessons I spoke about earlier, where I take a topic each week and do a lesson on it, an interactive lesson, which is also available to you view afterwards on YouTube. I'm also starting to produce some really short videos, up to about 10 minutes, which just address the topic in a really compact way. So there's a different kind of learning there, and they'll be on the same channel. And I've got some other ideas for that channel, which you'll find out about in the coming weeks as and when I do them. But watch out for those short videos, which are going to start popping up in the YouTube channel over the next few days.
Okay.
I'll stop there because I took some extra time on the previous question.
Lots of interesting things in the pipeline for us.
Yeah, lots of work.
Okay. What other resources would you recommend, ones that are not your own?
There's lots I could say about this. I think that one of the most important things I say is to use a range of resources. So even if you really like a particular publisher, even if that's the stuff that I do, I still think that it's a really good idea to use things from a range of different places, so you get a range of styles, a range of different question types, because the idea is to expose children to a wide range of things and also stop them getting bored, because if they're just doing the same things again and again and again, they'll hate it. And learning shouldn't be an unpleasant experience. It should be fun, and I think a range is an important part of that. Specific resources that I really like, I think that Alex Rosenberg's Linky Thinks stuff for creative writing is absolutely wonderful. To be frank, in some ways, he's a direct competitor of mine, but he's the kind of competitor you want to have because he's really good and he helps to keep me on my toes. A lot of people really like Sheena Aga's vocabulary books, and they're probably one of the most widely recommended things I come across on Facebook. And last thing I'm quickly going to say to run over time is do not be afraid to make up your own resources, because one of the most useful things you can do with your child is actually to come up with questions together and find solutions to them. And that's a much more creative activity in which you actually often learn a lot more than just going out to Smith's or to Amazon and just buying another thing that joins the pile of books that you probably never use anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, I like doing closed questions for those that have to do closed out of things that are people have read, like football. So then it's tailored towards your child as well and might have something that they're interested in. So, all right. Top tips. You can pick a year. You can do all three. Can you do it in a minute? Who knows?
Well, I'm just going to give one big top tip here, actually, because it's one of the things I say most often, and it applies to all these years, which is stop going on about the exams if you're preparing for 11 plus or SATs or whatever it is. It's just a ball and chain for children that makes everything stressful and difficult. An exam that's 2 years away is just a lifetime away for a child of that age. Just focus on the skills. Make sure that they're learning things, that they're enjoying learning. Don't worry about timing until the exam is a few weeks away. Focus on helping them to improve the things that they're less good at, to get better at the things they're already good at and find pleasure in them. And just worry less about marks than you do now. Worry less about the exams and talk about them less, and worry far, far, far less about timing and about how quickly your child works. These things are not nearly as important as you think they are. Focus on the skills and on making it positive and enjoyable, and the rest doesn't actually matter all that much.
There we are, a message of positivity and getting rid of that stress. Okay. My last question. If you could go on any trivia show, this is kind of a trivia show, what one would it be and why?
I've got a terrible with me, which is that I don't watch any TV really. So my knowledge of trivia shows, it's going to be stuff from when I was a teenager or something. I'm thinking what was this? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? There's Mastermind, which I probably watched once.
Would it be Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Because there's only a few questions between.
It would just be so stressful. I suppose the thing that's interesting about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is the wonderful and fascinating ways that people have found to cheat. And I suppose if I could go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire just for the joy of trying to find a new way to cheat it, I guess that would be worth it in itself. But yeah, I don't know. I really have no idea. Sorry.
I always put a random one at the end. Fair enough. I think we'll go with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and possibly something a little bit better than a cough.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be a millionaire, it's going to be for everybody in this group buying my books 20 times over. I don't think it's going
on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
I don't think it's going to be from going on quiz shows.
Fair enough. All right, brilliant. Thank you ever so much, Robert. Thank you for being our first person on Just a Minute. We have a couple more providers who are going to be along. If you are a resource provider and you're watching this and you're thinking, I'd love to do that, I'm sure those questions are really easy. Do give us an email at 11plusjourney@gmail.com. Please don't write in the comments, but do put it. Do send us an email and we will be able to get back to you. So,
Jemma,
just to summarize, of course.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, could I just tell people that if they want more information, the place to go is the RSL Educational website, where there's a link to everything. It's RSL Educational, not RSL Education. I should have called it that because that's what everyone thinks it's called, just like everybody seems to think I'm called Richard. And that's where you can find out more stuff. Okay. Sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you, but there's a slight time delay.
That's fine. So, just to summarize, this has been 15 minutes of a very quick interview with Robert Lomax, who is RSL Educational, and a little bit about his books, about the service that he provides, and about how he can help 11 plus parents. If you have joined us just at the end, which I think a couple of people might have, do go back. There'll be a replay on the 11 plus journey. I want to say thank you to Saba for letting us have this quick, fast-paced kind of quiz style, so you parents can find out a little bit more about people who write our resources. That was the whole idea behind this, because often we type away on screens, but we're not necessarily aware about the people behind the books. So Robert is the person behind the books, and hopefully you've enjoyed hearing a little bit about him today. Any final words from you, Robert?
Just thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure.
Perfect. It's been fun, it's been interesting, and it's been just a minute. All right then. Thank you very much. Bye everybody.